Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Naveen, and today we will be looking at two very important topics in quant that you cannot miss. Well, um, like every year in CAT, we have seen that arithmetic and algebra, these are two most important topics. Okay, we'll get into detail in depth as to how many questions from these two topics you can expect and all of that. Okay, and along with that, we will be solving some questions as well. So this is the first important thing, that what will be the pattern of CAT this year. So it's going to be anything from VARC having 19 to 21 questions MCQ ones, 3 to 5 non-MCQ, overall 24 to 26. When it comes to LRDI, 15 to 18 MCQ, 5 to 6 non-MCQ, overall 20 to 24. Quantitative ability, 16 to 18 MCQ questions, 6 to 8 non-MCQ questions, and overall 22 to 26 questions in this section. Such that overall number of questions will be from 66 to 76. 66 being the same trend as the previous year, 76 being the same trend as what it was 3 years ago. Okay. Section-wise time limit is going to be 40 minutes. It may extend up to 60 minutes. Okay, so maximum 1 hour you may have for one section. I'm going to hide myself. Marking scheme is +3 for every correct answer, -1 for every incorrect, and for 0 marks for unattempted. This is true for MCQs. For non-MCQs, it's going to be 0 marks for every incorrect. So you do not get any negative marks when you answer a question wrong when you have a theta-based questions, also known as non-MCQs. Okay. Now, what percentile do you need in order to, what score do you need in order to get a certain percentile? So if you look at CAT 2022, out of 198 marks, which it was the overall, in order to get a 99.9, you needed around 111 marks. For a 99.5, you needed a 93, for 99, 82, for a 95, 60 marks, and that's all. 60 marks of 198 is less than 1/3 of the total marks, which means out of every 3 questions, if you somehow happen to solve one question correct and the other 2 of course not wrong, then you can get a 95 percentile very easily. Okay, achieving a 99 percentile is also not difficult. This is less than half, right? Less than half. So when you score, when you attempt the paper as if you are solving one question correctly and you are skipping the next one, then the next question you are solving it correctly, then you are skipping the next one. And in that sense, you will be able to get around 50% of the total marks, which is going to be 99. So a 99 marks will fetch you 99.7, 99.8 percentile, right? Yeah, good afternoon, Saket. Hi, Harshad. See, the result for All India Open Marks will be result right after the date, after the last date, which is 28th of August. Okay, so maximum by 22nd of August, you will have your results. So you can say that around 1/3 or half is good enough, which means if we talk about last year paper where we had 22 questions, so 22 questions may say if you happen to solve half of it, 11 questions, तो आपको इतना percentile आ जाता, आराम से आता. So your target is not to solve all 22 questions. Your target is to solve 11, 12, 13 questions. Because when you actually solve 11, 12, 13, there may be a chance that 1 or 2 of them are going to be wrong, so that your score will dip down to a little less than half, which is good enough for a 99 plus percentile, right? Okay, so in the QA part, okay, you'll find that in arithmetic and algebra, these two topics, which are vast, the quite vast topics, the maximum number of questions come from these two. Okay, in CAT 2022, an overall of 12 to 16 questions were there from just these two topics, which is more than half of 22, right? In CAT 2021 also there were 12 to 17 questions actually. CAT 2021 we had more questions from these two topics. उसके पहले it was 16 to 18 and उसके पहले there were 25. Okay, so CAT 2019 is when you had more than 30 questions. Okay, तो इसीलिए 25 दिख रहा उधर. So you can see that more than half of the questions is from these two topics, and we have already seen also that you do not have to attempt a lot, you have to attempt around only half of them, which means only these two topics, they contain so many questions that their weightage good enough is to get a 99 percentile, right? And within arithmetic and algebra, the share of these subtopics is such that TSD questions, they come almost one question every slot. Okay, time and work is one question every 2 slots. Okay, मैं weightage उसकी जगह पे ये देख लेता हूँ. So time and distance 2 questions every slot, time and work a little over 1 question every slot, profit loss less than 1 question every slot. So this is more like out of 4 slots you will be getting 3 questions. Averages more than 1.5 questions per slot, mixtures and alligation 1 question per slot, ratios SICI and percentage. So देखोगे कि the entire arithmetic topic is important. Okay, anything which is 0.75 and above is important, right? But इसमें से भी, if you want to have a very good command, you can look into time, speed and distance, time and work, averages, mixtures and alligation. क्योंकि अगर ये 4 सब टॉपिक करोगे in arithmetic, then you will realize that you will end up solving 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 6 questions. Out of 11 questions that we have to attempt, more than 6 केवल इन 4 टॉपिक्स हो जाते हैं, right? Okay, what about algebra? Algebra consists of these many topics and a little more different. Okay, और इसका जो weightages है that you will find is 1.44, 1.33, 1, 1.11, 1.33. So these 5 topics from quadratic sequences in series, logarithms, spatial equations and functions, ये केवल अगर आप 5 कर लोगे तो 5, 6, again more than 6 questions you will be able to solve from algebra. More than 6 questions from algebra, more than 6 questions from arithmetic, 12 से ज़्यादा कर लोगे. Okay, now given that this is average, average means in one particular slot you may have more questions from algebra, lesser from arithmetic, right? Or arithmetic may, lesser from arithmetic. And within arithmetic that you may not have questions from this, but most questions from, let's say, SICI or ratios, उधर से हो सकता है. But on an average, if we take it, तो आपको केवल ये 5 सब टॉपिक्स करने, ठीक है, और ये 5 टॉपिक्स करने. So if you not 5, 4. If you actually only read these 9 topics, 9 to 10 subtopics in quant, आपको 99 percentile आराम से आ सकता है ना? So make sure that you study, solve as many questions of these topics such that whenever you come across such a question, you never leave it. मतलब इतनी फ्लुएंसी हो जानी चाहिए कि कभी भी देखा तो तुरंत सॉल्व कर लिया. Okay, that gives you a very good chance of scoring a decent percentile. Okay, what about other topics? In geometry, you will find it's only triangles that has been very much consistent, as in you can expect 1 question on an average in every slot of geometric questions in every slot. Number theory, it is above 1. So normally on an average, number of questions from number system has been 2 or 3, right? Permutation and combination, you will find that in the last 3 slots, there had been almost nil question from probability, right? PNCN question के 50% chances हो जाते हैं, ठीक है? So if I include permutation, combination and set theory, you will realize that they add up to give you a little over 1. Okay. So CAT 2022, you need 22.5 and above marks. So out of 66 marks. So what is 22.5? 22.5 is approximately 1/3. Like I said, 3 questions में से आपको 1 करना है, बाकी 2 छोड़ देना है. Next 3 में से 1 करना है, 2 छोड़ देना है. If you continue like this, and if you attempt 7 or 8 questions out of 22, you will get a 95% error. It's not that difficult. It's just that the mindset that students and every aspirant thinks that they will be able to solve all the questions. पर पेपर ऐसे बना जाता है, nobody can. Okay, let's solve some CAT questions. Okay. So I think I am going to hide it. Okay. A merchant can buy goods at the rate of rupees 20 per good. The particular good is part of an overall collection, and the value is linked to the number of items that are already on the market. So the merchant sells the first good for rupees 2, second for rupees 4, third for rupees 6, and so on. If he wants to make an overall profit of at least 40%, what is the minimum number of goods he should sell? Right? So first good, let's talk about the cost here. So can we say the first good will be at 20, the next good will be at 20, the next good will be at 20. इस तरह से करते करते we are going to have n number of goods here. Okay. N goods. So can we say the total cost is going to be 20n? Now let's talk about the sales. The first one is sold for 2 rupees, the next one is sold for 4, the next one is sold for 6, and this continues. And if you're talking about n goods, can we say this is going to be 2n, the last price, which if you calculate is, if you take out 2 common, you'll be left with 1 plus 2 plus 3 and so on up to n, which gives you n into n plus 1 by 2. So what 2 cut jayega. So this is the sales. Now question says if he wants to make a profit of at least 40%, if it wants to make a profit of at least 40%, that means sales is equal to 1.4 times 20n. Now why did I do this? मैंने इसलिए ये काम करा है क्योंकि I am saying कि 40% पे रख लेते हैं, and let's see how much do we get. So n cancels out. So we will have n plus n is equal to 1.4 into 20, which is going to be 14 into 2, which is 28, or this will give you n is equal to 27. So when n is equal to 27, you will have 40%. Since it says 40% and above, so 27 and above होने चाहिए. So 27 and above is in option C. There are some parts that you do not have to write if you know what you are going to do. तो उसको आप ना mentally solve करो. For example, this part, if I would have taken out 2 common, I knew that this is going to happen. And the sum of all the natural numbers up to n is given as n into n plus 1 whole divided by 2. So if I am going to write this, I know what is going to happen. So I know the result is going to be n into n plus 1. Isn't it? So 27 becomes the answer. Another type of question, if P is x% more than Q, Q is x minus 10 whole % less than R, and if P is greater than R, what is the range of values that X can take? Right? So this is a question of cyclic order or cyclic pair. Three things, right? It is given that, okay, the base is going to be R. So if I take R and if I talk about Q, then it is given that Q is x minus 10% less than R. And if I talk about P with respect to Q, it is x% more. And it is given that if P is greater than R. Okay? Suppose if I take a scenario, if P is equal to R. If P is equal to R, it means कि अगर आप किसी चीज को x% से बढ़ाओ और फिर उसको x minus 10% से कम करो, then it will form a pair. whichever value that you start, you will go back to the same one. Now, the relation between the cyclic pairs had always been that whenever something increases by k by n, its cyclic pair decreases by k plus n by k, right? So, if it is, this is equivalent to x percentage, this one is equivalent to minus of x minus 10%. So what is the range that x can take? So instead of k, to make it easier, I will be using 1 here. ठीक है? थोड़ा simplify करने के लिए number of variables ताकि कम हो जाए. So if I look at the first equivalence, 1 by n is equal to x by 100. That gives us x is equal to 100 by n, right? And from the second equivalence, we can say that 1 by n plus 1 is equal to x minus 10 upon 100. So this is going to give us x is equal to 100 by n plus 1. And then plus 10. So this will give you 110 plus 10n divided by n plus 1. So we need to find out, they both are x, isn't it? So a kya value rakhe ki such that they both are equal to 0, right? So either what we can do is we can solve these two, which will be time consuming because we will be getting quadratic, or what we can do is we can straight away use the options. ठीक है? तो options ज़्यादा calculative हो जाएगा actually. So let's solve this, right? So we have got 100 upon n is equal to 110 plus 10n upon n plus 1. If we cross multiply it, we will have 100n plus 100 is equal to 110n plus 10n square. And we will get 10n square plus 10n minus 100 is equal to 0. This can be written as n, 10 common कर ले लेते हैं. So n square plus n minus 10 is equal to 0, right? So of course this is going to have irrational roots, right? तो n की वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगी? -1 plus minus 1 plus 40 upon 2 into 1. So -1 minus some value, वो तो acceptable नहीं होगा. So it will be -1 plus under root 41 by 2. Now under root 41 by 2 is going to be how much? It's going to be 6 point something, right? So -1 plus 6 point something will become 5 point something. 5 point something by 2 will give us more than 2.5. So if we take n is equal to more than 2.5, so 1 by more than 2.5 is going to be less than 40%, because 1 by 2.5 40% होता है guys. So 1 by 2.5 से थोड़ा ज़्यादा will be less than 40%, right? I just increased the denominator. So it can't be 43%. 25 and 28 is way too less. तो ये C हो जाएगा. A difficult one. ठीक है? Not that easy. क्योंकि आपको एक cyclic pair range चाहिए where one increases by a particular percentage, the other should decrease it by 10 percentage points exactly. C is going to be the answer. तो ये ना कुछ बहुत rare है, but the last question number 2 that we saw, those are the types of questions that happen to be in some rarest of the rare cases जहां पर CAT में आता है. The kind of question you should leave immediately. Okay, if you're not able to solve it using options, if you have to solve using equations, better है कि छोड़ ही दो उसको. Now next one, Krishna borrows rupees 45,000 from a bank at 10% compound interest. He repays it in 3 annual installments that are in arithmetic progression. He ends up paying 54,000 totally. How much did he pay in year 1? ठीक है, so options आप use कर सकते हो, options से solve हो सकता है, right? 3 annual installments that are in arithmetic progression. So the annual installments were not, it was not equal in annual installments. Okay? So looking at this, and since there are 3 annual installments, so that means he ends up paying 54,000 overall, right? So that means if he pays first installment, right, that installment is going to be charged at 1 plus 10%. दो साल के लिए. The next installment is, so I should write this as I1, I2, because these are not equal installments, isn't it? Plus 1 plus 10%, and the third installment जो है उस पे कोई charge नहीं लगेगा. Now the relation between I1, I2 and I3 is that they are in AP, right? That means I3 minus I1, sorry, I3 plus I1 का average middle वाला term होगा. So this is what I2 is going to be, right? अब यहाँ पर are you going to solve these equations or should we use options? ठीक है? See, if 45,000 को 10% के rate से in 3 years, so this is the total due that somebody will have at the end of 3 years. इतने पैसे उसको eventually चाहिए, right? Which if we calculate is going to be 45, इसका 10% increase, which is going to be 49.5, इसका 4.95 increase, which is going to be 54.45. फिर इसका 10% increase, which is 5.45, which is going to be 59.9. So almost 60 lakhs due tha. But this guy ends up paying only 54,000. So can we say actually the installments which are in AP, they are in decreasing AP? See, I1, I2 plus I3 should have been 60. But I1, I2 and I3 turns out to be 54. है ना? इसको मैं 60 लिख देता हूं इधर. 54,000 total pay कर रहा है, यानी कि it says I1 plus I2 plus I3 is equal to 54. So, since you have to end up paying that, तो can we say कि installment जो था वो आपका नहीं, decreasing नहीं है, it's increasing only, right? Okay. So, on an average, can we say कि बराबर installment ले लेते हैं? 60,000 is the total amount that is supposed to be paid. So, approximately 20,000 is to be paid every year. I'm talking about this being 20,000, this being 20,000, and this one being 20,000. है ना? So the answer should be close to 20,000, and since it is an AP, and of course it should be increasing because 10% successive twice increase turns out to be 20,000. So I3 में तो कुछ increase नहीं है, तो I3 should already be greater than I1, right? So can we say I1 should be less than 20,000, but it should be close to 20,000. So less than 20,000 and close to 20,000, only option B makes sense, right? ये तो बिल्कुल नहीं होगा कि I1 is 21,000. If I1 is 21,000, 1/3 of 60,000, which is 20,000 से ज्यादा तो इधर ही दे देगा पूरा. If I1 is 21,000, isn't it? So बाकी values तो काफी ज्यादा लो हैं, so they cannot be the answers. Why B and C will lead to More than 54, Vinod? I'm saying I1 is 54,000. Sorry, इनका sum 54 है. So since they are in AP, I2 is going to be the middle term, right? So ये आपका 18,000 हो गया. This is 19,500 and this is going to be 1,500 कम, so 16,500. ठीक है. और hold on. Decreasing AP या increasing AP? 16,500 का 10% is 1.65, which is 18.15. Then you will have 1.81. 19, ये 20 बन जाता है. And if we add this, these are 54. 1.95, so 3.8. I2 is 18 ka 1.8, so 5.4. 54 plus 5.4 is 59.4. Actually decreasing AP हो गया ना? See, the two scenarios are, इधर देखो ध्यान दो कि if I take the first installment to be 16,500, तो 16,500 का 1.21 times, I hope everybody knows 1.1 का square 1.21 होता है, plus 18,000's 1.1 plus 19,500. If we try to solve it, 16.5, 18 and 19.5 is already 54,000 plus 20% of 16.5 is going to give us 3.3 thousand. 10% of 18,000 is going to give us 1.8 thousand. So this is going to be 5.1 thousand, right? Itna add hoga और, so this will become 59.1 thousand. हमें चाहिए ऑलमोस्ट 59.9, यानी 60,000 चाहिए हमें. लैक्स नहीं है, 1000 है, राइट? The other possibility is if I1 is 19,500, इसका 1.21 plus 18,000 का 1.1 plus 16,500, such that the installments are in AP, decreasing AP in this scenario. पर पहला इंस्टॉलमेंट बढ़ा था, उसके बाद कम होते चला गया. If I want to solve this, 19.5 plus 18 plus 16.5, ये 54,000 तो होएगा. This will be there. Plus 20% of 1.95, which is going to be 3.9 thousand. Plus 10% of 18,000, which is 1.8 thousand, which is going to give us 5.7 thousand. 54,000 plus 5.7 thousand will result in 59.7 thousand, which is closer to what the final amount was supposed to be. और अगर मैं 16.5 thousand का 20% सक्सेसिव लूं, 18,000 का only 10% सक्सेसिव and 19.5 का कोई सक्सेसिव नहीं, तो I will be able to reach only 59,000 and not 60,000 as the total dues were. तो ये नहीं हो सकता. So the first installment is 19,500 and not 16,500. Got it, Sumant and Vinod? Okay. Next, on a certain sum of money, compound interest earned at the end of 3 years is rupees 1456. Compound interest at the end of 2 years is rupees 880. Compute the principal invested. Now, when it comes to SICI questions, you have to keep one thing very much in mind, that the values given are going to be in such a way so that you can break them down very easily, right? If I don't want to use the formula, there is a table for compound interest that the first year interest is one number A, the second year interest is a number A and B. sorry, this is second year interest. The third year interest is given as A plus 2B plus C, where the relation between A and B is R percentage and the relation between B and C is R percentage, and same is the relation between the first interest and the principal. So this is how the values in a compound interest they behave. Now what you have to do is 2 years ka the interest that is given, you have to break it into two big parts and one small part. So 880, if I make this as 400, 480, so this is 880. And if I look at this, this turns out to be what? 20%? है ना? ठीक है. If I use the same logic, the next one should turn out to be 1456. So A is 400, B is 80. So I'm comparing it with the table on the left hand side. मैं इससे compare कर रहा हूँ इधर. ठीक है? I'm writing down the values accordingly. So 400, 400 plus 80, 400 plus 2 times 80 plus 20% of 80, which is going to be 16. जैसे 16 आया और 6 मैच किया ना, आप सही हो. You are on the right track. So this is 20% and this is also 20%, such that if you calculate the sum, this turns out to be 400 plus 480, which is 880. And if you calculate this, this is 1200 plus 80 into 3, 240, which is 1440 plus 16 is 1456. Which means ये जो 4 है, this 400, this is also 20% of what? Principal. So what should be the principal कि उसका 20% 400 है? 2000. No formula as such. If you know the standard format of compound interest table, you can straight away compare by putting in simple values. Right? Okay, I'll go back to the previous question. Vinod, you are assuming that the AP is of the form 19.5 thousand and then maybe 20,000 or maybe 20.5 thousand. Right? You are expecting such kind of values and that's why you are saying that this is going to be more than 54,000. I'm saying in the universe, in mathematics, do APs exist always like this? Can't it be the decreasing ones? It's not necessary, no? When they say AP, तो ये increasing ही होगा, ये decreasing भी तो हो सकता है. So why can't I have the first number as 19.5 thousand? The second number is 18,000 and the third number as 16.5 thousand. What is the issue here? Why can't I have this? This is also AP, no? Right? Okay. So 2000. So please remember, SICI questions are not difficult ones. It's the process or the steps in which interests are calculated that makes it difficult a bit. Okay, next. In an exam, 35% of students failed in quants and 42% of students failed in verbal, while 14% failed in both the topics. If 2 students passed in both the topics, how many students appear to write the examination? Okay. So, see, 2 is in the table of 2, 3 and 37. Okay. Why? Because 3 into 37 is 111. So, 2 will be 2 times of that, as in twice of that. If some particular region value is 222, as in it should be in the table of either 2 or 3 or 37 or maybe at least one more than that. So we can straight away check कि पहले कि कौन सा option 37 के table में है, right? So whichever option is in the table of 37, we will mark that. But unfortunately, we do not see any option in the table of 37. Next, what we have to do is check if the number is in the table of 3. 2 ke table may be also you have all the 4 options. Which number is in the table of 3? There is one. Mark it. Okay, this is a very smart move, a very accurate move. It's very quick, but it needs a lot of practice, because this you cannot work out, or if this is something you cannot use in every question. Okay. This is a set theory based question. It says that if we are looking at quants and if we are looking at verbal, and there are total students, since we are working on percentages right now, so we will be like, there are total 100 students, 35 of them failed in quant, 42 of them failed in verbal, 14 failed in all. So these regions are about failures, not pass. So if this is 14, so this is going to be remaining 21, right? Let's add up all the values. If we add this, this is going to be 42 and this is 21. 42 plus 21 is 63. So if we have this shaded region ka overall value 63, that means outside kitne honge? 37. So this is the region where it talks about failed in neither of the subjects, neither of quant or verbal, which is same as saying passed in both. This is exactly what is being given. So this is 37, पर हमें value जो given है, it's not 37, it is given as 222. So how many times is this? Can we say 2 into 3 times? Because 37 already exists. 37 into 6 is going to be 222. If this is 2 into 3 times, that means every value is going to be 2 into 3 times. So 100 ka 2 into 3 times will become 600. Like I said, your number should be in the table of 3 or 2 or 37 or maybe at least one of them. So if you trust the process that your magnitude ka change, because you know set theory works on ratios, so magnitude ka change is going to be one of the reasons how the final answer or the options look like. तो आप केवल टेबल चेक कर लो, you don't have to solve entirely. ठीक है, 600 ही होना चाहिए, right? Next, in a local election, 2,400 people were to vote for party A or party B. Party A was bound to win the election. However, on election day, 1/3 of the voters of party A were kidnapped. Party B was also able to influence the remaining party A voters and thus double the strength of its voters. In this way, party A lost by a majority, which was half of that by which it would have won the which it would have won had the elections been fair. How many people finally voted for party A and party B? 1/3 of the voters of party A were kidnapped. Party B was also able to influence the remaining party A voters and thus double the strength of its voters. Party A loses. Okay. 1/3 of the voters of party A were kidnapped. ठीक है. Party B was able to influence the remaining party A voters and double the strength of its voters. In this way, so इस सिनेरियो में तो पार्टी A के पास तो not a single voter would have been left, नहीं? So 1/3 of the voters of party A were kidnapped. Party B was also able to influence the remaining party A voters and thus double the strength of its voters. ठीक है. Okay, got it. The options is giving us how many people finally voted for party A and party B. Okay. So instead of using equations, let's use the options. Okay. Before I start using the options, so let's look at this. Suppose party A, total number of voters. I'm just randomly assuming values. Since it says 1/3 and was able to double, so what I'm going to take is, I'm going to take A as 6. 6 voters were going to vote for A. And B के लिए let's say हमारे पास 10 voters थे. ठीक है? Random values. Now, what happens that 1/3 of voters of party A, that is 2 voters, were kidnapped. ठीक है? Now, then what happens is the remaining 4 voters, party B was able to lure them और अपने तरफ लेकर आ गया, such that they now will have 14 voters, right? So they were able to double the strength of its voters. Party A lost by the majority, which was half of that by which it would have won. अच्छा, by which it would have won का मतलब है कि A would have received larger number of voters. ठीक है, तो make it larger. Let's take this as 36, such that this is 12, this is 24. तो 24 इधर आ जाएंगे. तो 10 plus 24, it will become 34 voters eventually voted for B. Right? But the thing is कि अगर सारे उधर चले गए तो A को वोट तो किसी ने नहीं करा. So party A loses by 34 votes, right? Because A did not get a single vote, B received all the 34 votes. And initially A was supposed to win by 36 minus 10, which is 26 votes, right? ये double का ratio, as in they're in the ratio 2:1. Fine, if we have understood this, let's go vice versa. Let's start with the first option. Finally, okay, this is A and B. Finally, if A received 1200 votes, sorry, A received 600 votes, but the thing is, A को 600 votes आए कहाँ से होंगे? अगर 1/3 got kidnapped and remaining party B में चले गए, तो ये पार्ट कंफ्यूजिंग लग रहा है मुझे कि if 1/3 were kidnapped and remaining moved to party B, so it should be 0, that nobody voted for party A. चलो कोई नहीं. So right now it's a loss of 600 votes. A के लिए, from the perspective of A lost by 600 votes. ठीक है, मैं इसको ऊपर लिख देता हूँ. Now this happened when B was able to influence such that it doubles the strength of its voters. So B के voters को देखो, it's not 1200. That means it should have been 600 earlier, है ना? Such that it was able to influence the remaining party A voters. It's ये confusing part था. They were not able to influence all the remaining party A voters. They were able to influence some of party A voters. ठीक है? Now it makes sense कि B had twice the number of voters in eventually. So initially 6 voters were like, I will vote for you. But B now want to lure some of the A's voters. such that they double it. So 600 was transferred from here so that it becomes 1200 later on. So if it's 600 is transferred from here, that means there were 1200 voters with party A. Now, party A has 1200 voters after 1/3 of the party A voters were kidnapped. So 1800 होना चाहिए था पहले, such that 1/3, that is 600 were kidnapped, 1200 left. Then 600 moved to party B, such that 600 of A left and 1200 of B left. यानी कि इसके पास 600 होना चाहिए था. 18 plus 600 is 2400. Initially, party A was about to win by 1200 votes. Party A lost by a majority which was half of what by which it would have been won if the election had been fair. So the confusing part was this word. राइट रिमेनिंग मतलब जो बचा हुआ है, पर अगर सब बचा हुआ है तो ए के पास कुछ भी वोट्स कैसे हो सकते हैं, बिकॉज इन ऑल द ऑप्शंस वी हैड द सेम. थैंकफुली ए इज द आंसर. इफ ए वाज नॉट द आंसर देन वी वुड हैव वेंट आफ्टर बी ऑप्शन, राइट. वी वुड हैव स्टार्टेड विद ए हैविंग 300 वोट्स, बी हैविंग 600. बी के पास 600 है, डबल होने के बाद तो पहले 300 रहा होगा, एंड मूव्ड बैकवर्ड्स. ओके, सो 600 वेयर स्टिल किडनैप्ड, as in they were not allowed to come and vote, right? Okay, Sumant, but do not want to use the equations, right? 1/3 was kidnapped or not part of the question anymore. Nahi, Saket. The part they have asked is how many people finally voted. Finally voted मतलब जो kidnap, अब भाई kidnap हो गए, release नहीं हुए ना. They've never mentioned that they came back for voting. Just like when party B was able to influence some of party A voters, तो वो party B में count हो रहे हैं. So as they have mentioned, we are going to assume that part. मतलब random assumption नहीं है. That's exactly what we are going to understand. ठीक है. So rather than variables and equations, I will prefer options. Sumant, I hope you understood. उल्टा शुरू करना है. क्यों? क्योंकि उल्टे वैल्यूज ऑप्शंस में गिवन है. उल्टे एज इन फाइनल वैल्यूज आर गिवन, वी हैव टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द वैल्यूज एंड क्लाइंब आवरसेल्व्स बैक टू द क्वेश्चंस कंडीशंस. ठीक है, चलो ये नेक्स्ट. इन CAT there were 75 questions. Each correct answer was rewarded 4 marks and each wrong answer was penalized 1 mark. In how many different combination of correct and wrong answer is a score of 50 possible? So correct का +4, wrong का -1, unattempted as usual has to be 0. क्या ये जरूरी है 0? Is 0 possible? चलो देखते हैं. There are total of correct plus wrong plus unattempted as 75 and the total marks is 4 correct minus wrong plus 0 into unattempted. तो इसको मैं ऐसे ही रहने देता हूँ. This is supposed to be 50 marks. So how many ways are there? तो देखो इसको भाई दो तरीके से कर सकते हैं. We can start using the two equations and solve it, or what we can do is let's look at correct and wrong. ठीक है, मैं unattempted हटा देता हूं, but if I remove unattempted, C and W will get us a unique answer. नहीं, 5C will become 125. तो हाँ, अगर मैं unattempted हटा दूंगा, 2 variable 2 equation, I'll get a unique answer, right? Fine. None of these होने नहीं चाहिए थे, पर कोई नहीं. See, if I need a 50 marks and if every correct question gives us 4 marks, तो 12 marks पे I will get 48. but even if I have wrong ones, तो क्या होगा ना कि this will decrease our overall score, isn't it? Unattempted तो बढ़ाएगा नहीं marks. So 12 correct तो नहीं होना चाहिए. So this is supposed to be 13 correct. So that 13 into 4 is 52. 2 should be wrong. And unattempted should be the remaining. We have 75 questions now. So 75 questions का मतलब हो गया. This is 13 plus 2, 15. So 60 unattempted थे. Now, for every increase in correct, wrong will increase by 4. क्योंकि correct का जो 4 marks है उसको 4 गलत करके compensate करना है. Right? So this will increase by 4. So 6 wrong हो जाएंगे. So this is 20. So remaining should be 55. If we continue like this, you can see that unattempted decreases by 5. क्योंकि 5 में से 1 turns out to be correct and 4 turns out to be wrong. तो 5 questions unattempted जो हैं, now somebody is going to attempt those 5. Out of those 5, 1 turns out to be correct, 4 wrong. Says that there is an overall change of 5 questions. If we continue like this, 5, 5, 5 करके, last में 0 unattempted रहेगा. I don't want to look into C and W because they are increasing. I don't know to what extent we need to stop them. But unattempted is decreasing and we can't have less than 0. So if you are at 60 and if you keep on decreasing it by 5, 5, 5, so there will be a total of 12 decreases possible, which means you will have a total of 13 values. I hope you guys understand this process. Sorry, 13, not 30. 13 such values. Right? You can also use the general term of an AP logic, or you can simply see that 60 divided by 5 is 12. That means there are going to be 12 jumps, and if there are 12 jumps, there will be 13 values. आप एक बार कूदते हो तो पैर जमीन पे 2 बार होता है. 2 times if you jump, then your foot or your legs are on the ground 3 times. So if there are 12 jumps, there will be 13 values, and 13 values would mean none of these. So whenever you have questions related to none of these, you have to be very, very careful. Okay. D is the answer. How many integer solutions exist for the equation such that x and y are less than 100? So we have a condition. X is, X and y, they both are, X and y, they both are less than 100. ठीक है. Now we have to think of any random value of x and y such that this is true. So 15 is the larger coefficient, right? So 15 के table में I can get a 45 from here. And I can get a 44 from here. But I need a -1, so the -1 होना चाहिए. So what I can now place is x is going to be 4 and y is going to be -3. Right? Says that 11 into 4 is 44, 15 into -3 is -45, 44 minus 45 is -1. Perfectly, it makes sense. Now, if x decrease, see, x will now decrease by 15. 15 का change आएगा उसमें. And y will change by 11. That's how linear equation in 2 variables, they change their values when we are talking about integral solutions. So x will decrease by 15 and y will decrease by 11. Decrease की जगह increase हो जाएगा ना, because I want it to be consistent. Hold on. If it changes by 15, we will have 165. sorry, this will become 19, right? If it becomes 19, so we will have 209 minus 210. So this should decrease by 11, so that this is minus 14. I'm just verifying that which one should add and which one should decrease. So that minus 14 into 15 is 210. ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है. Okay, so in my mind it was less than minus 100. I was thinking, मैंने कहा ये एक दोनों negative कैसे हो सकता है? So what we see is x must have started, way before that, as in x पहले minus 11 रहा होगा. So that minus 11 plus 15 is 4. And y in that case must have decreased by 11, so that it must have been 8 before. So y must have been less than 100 initially, and x increases. Eventually, x is going to be less than 100. So we need to find out how many such cases exist, right? So which is the first value of y that we can have if we keep on increasing by 11? So y की first value इधर क्या होएगी, right? This is what you need. So if you jump by 11, you can get to 99, but that is going to be 8. 8 plus 99 is more than 100. So 8 plus 88 makes sense. So ये 96 हो सकता है. Think about it. 96 minus 11 minus 11 minus 11. If you keep on subtracting 11 and 11, you will subtract 88 and you will reach at 8. और 8 के बाद फिर 11 subtract करके minus 3 minus 14, and this will keep on decreasing, right? Minus 11 होते रहेगा. So the largest value of y that we can have is 96, right? So largest value y तो हो गया, पर इसमें total cases values कितने निकल कर आएंगे? So if we count up to here, minus 88 would mean 8 times jump. So that is 9 values overall. This is our 10th value. Okay? So 9 values before it and 1 value here. अब x की बात करते हैं. X starts from 4 and it keeps on increasing by 15, and it should be less than 100. 15 के table में, if we keep on writing down the values plus 15, we can reach up to 90 at most, right? और ये 4 से शुरू हो रहा है. So the last value that we can have over here is 94, such that if we keep on increasing it by 15, तो आप 90 का increase करके जा सकते हो, right? From this perspective, इसको include करते हुए, this could be an increase of 90, right? 15 का jump. Now 90 is 15 ka 6 times, yani ki there are 6 jumps over here. That tells us that we are going to have a total of 7 values here. 7 values में ये वाला value inclusive है, and while we were solving वो y वाला case में this particular value was not inclusive. So in the case of y we are getting 9 values. In the case of x we are getting a total of 9 and 6 values. So 9 values इधर, ये 6 का jump होगा तो ये 94 and y is going to be 96. ठीक है. So total of 9 plus 7, that is 16 values we are going to expect. 16 हो जाना चाहिए. C is equal to 25 to 13. C, I did not understand. Achha, you're talking about the previous one, maybe. If you go towards negative x, it is 21 terms. 21? Don't calculate that. देखो, यहाँ गलती वही कर दी थी ना. I should not have written it vertical. So x and y लिखते हैं हम लोग. ठीक है? Now, there is going to be a value of x and y where it will make sense. So, x is going to be 4 and y is going to be minus 3 such that it makes sense. So, this is 4 and minus 3. Right? Now, अगर आप ध्यान दोगे इधर, तो you will realize that x will change by 15. So, let's increase x by 15. ये 15 का increase कर करके आ रहा है. And y will decrease by 11. Y 11 decrease करके आ रहा है. Right? For the sake of understanding, I am going to write down the values over here. This is supposed to be minus 11 and this is going to be 19. This is supposed to be 8 and this is supposed to be minus 14. और ये चलते रहेगा. Both the sides. What we realize is x was initially on the negative side. It is growing. So x pe condition that it should be less than 100 should be made, and y pe we are seeing that it was initially positive, it's moving towards the negative side. So y pe condition less than 100, it should be met at the beginning. We don't have to write down every pair of solutions for x and y. We just have to understand कि if I get some value of x, some value of y will definitely exist for it. ठीक है? अब ये देखते हैं. Let's look at the x part. X part मतलब let's only pay attention here. इस वाले part पे, यहाँ से यहाँ तक. The last solution. ठीक है? So I'll draw this. Last solution set and the first solution set. So if you start from 4 and if you jump by 15, 15, 15, 15, तो आप 15, 15 करके 90 तक जा सकते हो. As in, if you are jumping by 15, 15, 6 times, you are jumping overall 90. And if you started from 4, you will end up at 94. So what we find over here, कि 4 से 94, there was an overall jump of 90, which is 6 times 15 ka jump. Just like in the previous question, if there are going to be 6 jumps, that would mean there will be 7 values. Right? 7 values inclusive of 4 and 94. Y की भी value accordingly will be something. We don't have to solve it. कुछ ना कुछ आएगा. Definitely it will exist. Right? Okay. Let's look at the Y component. So you start with 8. अब हम लोग क्योंकि 4 ये वाला solution set is already counted, no? So I will look before it. 8 से देखते हैं. If we are moving backwards, if it was decreasing by 11, we can say कि अभी उल्टा जाएंगे तो 11 का increase करते हुए values लिखते चले जाओ. Now 11, 11, 11 increase is up to 99. But it is only from 99 if you had started with 0, no? कि 0 plus 11 is 11, 11 plus 11 is 22, 22 plus 11 is 33. जब आप 0 से शुरू करोगे तब तो 99 पहुंचोगे. But if you start with 8, obviously you won't be able to reach 99. You can only jump by 88. 88 का ही jump मार पाओगे आप, 99 का तो नहीं मार पाओगे. Right? So, from here to here, we can say that there is going to be a jump of 88 overall, which means there is going to be 8 times jump of 11. Right? Such that 88 plus 8 will result in the value 96. क्योंकि उसके पहले it had been more than 100, तभी तो 11 कम होके 96 पे पहुंचे if we move from left to right. Now, if there are going to be 8 jumps, right? इसका मतलब क्या है? 8 jumps would mean 9 values. So how many values do we have overall? 9 values if we look at y का component, 7 values if we look at x ka component, a total of 16 values. I hope this part is clear now, Sumant. And Saket. I can solve it using arithmetic progression का general term also. It's not going to give me a much different, I mean, definitely not a different answer, पर steps लग जाएंगे. You इसको अगर लेके if you take the general term, you will say 4 plus 15 minus 1, sorry, n minus 1 into jump is that of 15. This results in a 94. यहां से सॉल्व करोगे n आपको 7 ही आएगा. पर क्यों करें when we can see that 6 jumps are there which we can calculate very easily, that would result in 7 values, right? Okay, next one. What are the number of integral solutions of the equation, right? Since we are talking about x and y greater than 0, in other words, we are talking about positive integral solutions, which in other words, we are talking about natural number solutions. तो आप क्या करते हो ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में? You take the constant term, you divide it by the product of their coefficients, which will result in 41 by 7, which is going to give us 5 point something. तो ये जो 5 है, this gives you the number of natural number solutions, right? 123 by 21 is going to be 5 point something, very close to 6, not exactly 6, but 5 point something is what you will be having. जब 5 point something है, you only look at the integral component of that decimal value and that gives you the answer. ठीक है? It is as simple as this. B हो जाएगा आंसर. You don't have to find out individual values of x and y. Next one is how many integer solutions are there for the equation mod x plus mod y is equal to 7. So what you do in such cases is आपको ग्राफ ड्रॉ करके कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला. What you have to do is straight away start putting in the values. So I'm going to take x is equal to 0. So y is going to be plus minus 7. If x is going to be plus minus 1, y is going to be plus minus 6. If x is going to be plus minus 2, y is going to be plus minus 5. Right? If this continues, eventually you will have x is equal to plus minus 7 and in that case y is going to give you 0. इसका previous वाला भी मैं लिख देता हूँ so that it's easier. So if you look at the pattern over here, there is always a pattern. ठीक है? तो आपको पहले वाले में दिखेगा this is 1 into 2 values, this is 2 into 2, this is 2 into 2, this is also 2 into 2 and the final one is 1 into 2. Why 1 into 2? Because y can only take 0. And since they are talking about integer solutions, तो आप negative वगैरह ले सकते हो. So how many 2 into 2 cases होंगे? So pay attention to x, 1, 2, up to 6. So can we say there are 6 cases and each case is going to give us 2 into 2 scenarios. So this is 6 into 4, 24. सामने वाले से we will be having 2 cases. Last वाले से we will be having 2 cases. We will have a total of 28 cases. Or 28 integral solutions is what we are going to have. Right? That will result in none of these. यही एक है. One session on modulus. ठीक है? I'll take one session on modulus. So the sessions up until the end of this particular, until the next week, Sumant, it has already been decided. So please make sure that you press the bell notification. Okay. So next session जब भी modulus का होगा, you will get to know about it, right? ठीक है. So that's all for today. Thank you everyone who was present here, who is present right now. Make sure that you like the video and subscribe. People who are new to BYJU'S Exam Prep or to our channel, you can download our app from Google Play and you can put in your contact number and enjoy our app for 3-day full access. You can buy our test series. The test series consists of more than 80 mocks with 25 CAT and other remaining non-CAT exams. 10,000 practice questions, 3 already open mock tests with video solutions. डिटेल्ड एनालिसिस एंड वीडियो सॉल्यूशंस तो सारे मॉक्स के देते ही हम, राइट? You can be one among our CAT 2022 toppers this year. All you have to do is join our latest current batch, that is for 2023. These are all our giveaways. You can write our currently going on all India open mock. The last date is 20th of this month. Please make sure that you write this mock. It helps you prepare where do you stand pan India. When you're writing our BYJU'S mocks, they are generally for the students who are enrolled with us, right? What about the students who are not enrolled with us? They are also going to write the open mock. So you have a good, you are going to build a better strategy. कि इतने ज़्यादा लोग हैं तो does your percentile actually increase or does it decrease, right? तो काफी idea देता है. You can write a scholarship test if you want to join our batch, and you can get up to 90% scholarship. The scholarship test date is 27th of August and at 11 a.m., which is the coming Sunday. On 20th of August at 11 a.m., Mr. Srinivas is going to take a workshop on MBA, how, when, and why. Okay, please make sure that you attend this session. You have to register for this. These are all our social media handles. So everyone, please check it out. Don't forget to join our Telegram channel. Well, thank you. Y is equal to plus minus 7, the total 15 points. Okay, let me check that, Sumant, for you. Sumant, I think you are getting confused with mod x plus mod y less than equal to 7. Because had this been true, then if x is equal to 0, y is going to take 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, up to plus minus 7. This itself would have given you 15 values, because मेरे को यही समझ आ रहा है आपको 15 कैसे आया होगा. गलती से आपने इक्वल टू की जगह लेस देन इक्वल टू अज्यूम कर लिया. Right now, if x is 0, तो 0 plus what number gives you 7? Not less than 7 even. 7 ही चाहिए. 6. So mod y is going to be 6, which means y is going to be 6 or minus 6. आप ये क्वेश्चन समझ रहे हो, पर क्वेश्चन में इक्वल टू है. अच्छा, that's why I say don't go after the graph, don't go after the drawing. Because if you look at the drawing, though, if you have to find the number of points on the number line, inside the number line, वो सब चीज के लिए ना, it's always preferable you do that. Because no matter how accurate you draw, to a only at a certain limit हम अपन humans बना सकते हैं ना graph. So if you miss even a single point while drawing it, it's not worth, right? Okay. Inside the point मतलब वही less than equal to हो गया, है ना? चलो, thank you everyone. Take care.